I just slept for 2 extra minutes, but when I woke up, everything outside had turned into chaos. The blaring sound of an air raid siren pierced the air. A military helicopter crashed straight into the building next door. Before I could react, screams and roars echoed through the street. I rushed to the window and saw people scattering in all directions. My girlfriend was among them, her eyes full of despair. I yelled at her to come upstairs, but the next moment, she was knocked down by the crowd. I froze, not understanding what was happening. I hurried back to the apartment. Just then, my neighbor burst in. He was panicked, saying his wife had gone crazy and begged to hide here. Before I could react, he covered his neck and ran into the bathroom. I noticed the bite marks on his neck, and a sense of suspicion rose in me. I grabbed a knife, ready to defend myself. At that moment, the television broadcast an emergency news alert. It said a zombie virus had broken out in the city, and the infected were becoming violent. Anyone who bit others would turn into monsters. My neighbor saw the news and still insisted he was fine. But the next second, his eyes turned blood red, and his body started to mutate. He wasn't fully out of control yet, but when he saw the knife in my hand, he became even more terrified. In the end, he reluctantly left the apartment. I quickly locked the door. Almost immediately, horrific screams came from outside. I peered through the crack in the door and saw my neighbor being torn apart by zombies. I collapsed on the floor, realizing the outside world had been overrun by zombies. The first thing I thought of was my parents. Fortunately, my dad sent a message saying they were temporarily safe and told me to stay indoors and not go out. I understood that survival depended entirely on myself. I hurriedly used the fridge to block the door, sealed the windows, even moved the bed to the living room, staying alert at all times. But one night, I suddenly heard a noise coming from the bathroom. A bad feeling rushed over me. I grabbed a baseball bat and carefully walked to the bathroom. When I opened the door, I was completely stunned. A zombie had crawled in through the vent.